All of what's coming next, there are some leaked informations and leaked benchmarks, so they might be true or might not be true, they might be dead wrong. So I just want you to take all of what's next with a grain of salt, and this is purely coming from like a gamer perspective, that average PC gamer that wants to get a lot of frame rates from his PC while he's on a budget. So yeah, so fight me as much as you want in the comments down below for what I'm gonna say next. I really wish I could see Intel compete again. So how's it going, everybody? This is the second episode of What Do I Know? This is a series that I've started somewhere in 2017, I believe. People usually, get some misconception about what this series is. This is purely me talking about what I have seen. So what I have seen might be right, might be dead wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion, and I'm looking forward to hearing yours in the comments below. So if you find any of these upcoming info is kind of misleading or wrong, or you suspect him, you can just double check him in the internet and then get back to me and type it down in the comments if there's anything wrong, and I will pin it. I'm not trying to kind of mislead anyone. I'm just here having a chat with you guys. All right, let's do this. So here's why I want really bad Intel to come back to the competition again, because the lack of competition, this is like some facts here, destroys the market and will allow AMD to exploit their products and make a lot of profit margins from so minimal upgrades and so minimal effort. And here's a really convincing example for me. This is the Ryzen 5 2600 for around $125. It's a great CPU. It's a 6 cores 12 threaded CPU, but the thing is that this is a CPU that is still being sold on Amazon right now for around $120, and this is a previous gen CPU. Now take a look at that CPU. Meet the Ryzen 5 1600 AF. So it's essentially a Ryzen 5 2600, but they gave it a different name. It's for $85. So we're talking $40 difference on the same freaking CPU. Now what's the closest CPU competitor to the Ryzen 5 2600? It's the i5 9400F. It's for $150. So as you can see, there is a gap here. Like if I want to get a CPU for around $130 with the latest IPC gains from the newest gen CPU lineup, I'd be looking at something like a Ryzen 5 3500X. And this CPU is not being sold in the United States right now. It's only in China. That's meant to compete with the i5 9400F. Now I also wanted you to take a look at that CPU. This is the Ryzen 5 1400. We've never seen any refreshed model of it since it was released. We only saw the Ryzen 5 2400G and the Ryzen 5 3400G. Now the IPC gains are obvious, but what if I don't need that integrated GPU that comes with it? I just want the pure performance of the CPU, so I can fit it with a GPU on like a $400 to $500 budget and get a lot of frame rate. So it's all about getting frame rates for me. I want to play games at 1080p competitive settings and get around 144 frame rates. That's the future. That's the edge that PC gamers have over consoles, and you know that. So for $120, and as a budget gamers like that, $30-40 on a CPU is a huge price difference. It means a lot to me. I cannot find the CPU that's got a strong IPC and gives me that great performance in a game like Fortnite at 1080p low settings. So I cannot play this game at 240 frames per second stable for some reason. So if we imagine that if AMD have released like a refreshed model of the Ryzen 5 1400 and it's called the Ryzen 5 3400, so that's a quad-core 8-threaded CPU, but at the same time it's got that strong IPC from the 7nm architecture of the latest Ryzen 3000 series. Why is that not here? Why is that not on the market for these specific PC gamers who just want the CPU, not the CPU and the GPU, all in one? So here's what we saw so far, and these are some leaked pricing. They might be 100% wrong, like speculations on how the Intel 10th gen CPU would be priced at. There's an i3 10000 series CPU. I can't remember the whole model, but it's a quad-core 8-threaded CPU. And from what we've seen so far from the i9 10900K, which is the highest end CPU, and it's comparable to the Ryzen 9 3900X, the IPC gains is like 10 to 15 15% in the single core performance over the Ryzen 9 3900X. So if we got these type of gains on a quad-core 8-threaded CPU, and this CPU, the i3, that I can't remember the specific model of it, its base clock is around 3.5 gigahertz. So that means it can turbo to all the way to 4 gigahertz or somewhere around. And these games that is CPU intensive and is more dependable on the CPU clock and the CPU single core performance, we'll get these frame rates that we want from a game like Fortnite. And it feels like I'm the only one who's playing Fortnite, but there are these other games like Call of Duty Warzone, the Ryzen 5 1600 AF and the Ryzen 5 2600, and again they're the same CPU. I swear it's struggling to get 120 frames per second average with a GPU like the GTX 1660 Super at 1080p low settings, while at 1080p ultra settings it's getting 80 to 90 frame rates as an average. So there is no stutters, there is a limit there, and it doesn't make sense, you know. So ultra settings and low settings, they are completely different, and we should see a huge gain. This is the perspective that I'm talking from. So that i3 CPU is allegedly should be priced at around $130 to $150. That would force AMD to bring up a CPU for around the same budget or cheaper, or maybe they would knock down the price of the Ryzen 5 3600, or maybe they would bring the Ryzen 5 3500X. Whatever AMD would have done so they can, you know, respond to what Intel has released is gonna be a win for us. And this is what I want to see, guys. So this is like a quick tech talk. I guess it would be a good selling point if it's purely for gaming. So this is what I came to, and this is what I hope I will see. I hope to see that competition so I could find the best CPU for the best price. So let me know, what do you think down in the comments below. This was the second episode of What Do I Know, and hopefully, I really hope I would see you again. Subscribe and peace.
Love can change the world in a moment, but what do I know?